Who is your daddy? I am your father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?
All right, so welcome to the show. This is Fathers of the Grind. I'm taking over. Tim is here, but I don't care. I didn't even.
If you're taking over, what's the
I
number
didn't
of
even
the episode?
ask permission. That's how big of a rebel I am right now.
What's
Please,
the number of the episode?
take it away.
It's episode 183 because I
Episode
put 183
183
last week on my recording. I hate your sound effects.
Hey, Daniel,
That
I
one
need to
sound
go ahead and
effect?
put that for real in the show. I'll add that
Okay.
in for real for you. Yeah.
All right, that's an app, but you can.
All right, so I
add
got
it.
a question for you guys. Right off the top.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is episode 183. Tim Nestor's here. Nobody cares. Daniel Fritos is here. Nobody cares. And I'm your host, Derek Teague. Everybody cares. But all right, so I have 3 switches. I've already said that 2 of them have been messed up by my kids. Now I assumed what it was the Joy-Cons were messed up because of that. What is it? That issue that's going
Drift.
around?
The drift.
But I went ahead and bought like the Link or the Zelda Joy-Con and the Mario Joy-Con that are not official Nintendo brands. And I still got I wouldn't even consider it a drift. It legit drags everything down. Meaning if I'm on the home screen trying to pick a game, I can't. I have to fight it. It's pushing down.
Yeah, that's
It's like
worse.
it's
The drift was more subtle. The drift was like
Yeah.
in a game. If
This
you let
is not
go,
a
it would
drift.
slowly move down or something. Yeah.
So I'm nervous that either my Switch is broken or it's actually the right Joy-Con, not the left one, that's somehow messed up. Anyways, it's not playable. It's retarded.
That
so I
is annoying. By the way, I sent 4 of mine in. I had 4 different Joy-Cons that all had mild to severe levels of drift. One of them even had a totally busted joystick that one of my kids had completely ruined. And I sent all 4 in, and they just returned all 4 brand new versions of them.
Mm,
Two red ones, a blue one, and a yellow one, and they just sent back brand new versions of all of them.
That's what they do.
I was like,
And it was
okay.
free, right? Still,
It was totally
still
free. Yeah, I just
Yep.
submitted their ticket. They sent me a thing to print out and tape onto my box, which I did. So I paid nothing to ship it. They shipped it back for free. I got no bill in the mail. That was it. Bunch
Yeah, I
of new
mean, they kind of
Joy-Cons.
had to because at first I think they were charging people, and then it's like, well, that's ridiculous because this is your fault. So
Yeah.
Well, they were charging when they didn't know it was their fault.
By the way, if you
Sure.
hear someone singing
Or did
Dirty
they?
Pop in the background, that's my wife singing to little baby Poppy, Dirty Pop.
Wow.
that's not actually Justin Timberlake.
It's not. I know it sounds a lot like JT, but it was my
The
wife.
fact that
Yeah.
you know that it's JT makes me sick to my stomach.
She goes, I don't even know the words. I'm just singing Dirty Pop over and over again.
I mean, I don't
She
listen to that.
sings it when she's changing her diaper. It's funny.
I don't listen to that garbage music, but I mean, I think most people know, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You listen
Yeah,
to
well,
Tool.
You have a stupid face, so
I don't
All right.
listen to Tool. I couldn't even get through their whole new album. I was like, you guys are so boring.
Have you seen that meme going around where someone says, how much longer in this Tool song? They're like, it just started. And his face as he turns around like, what?
Oh, it's the rock one. I posted it. It's
Maybe it was you.
he asks if the Tool album's over,
Oh, the Tool album. That's right.
and the
That's right.
kid responds with, "This is still the first song."
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, "What?" That's how I feel about Tool. If y'all want my
I mean-
review of Tool, I think I'm a musician, so as a musician, I think they're amazing. Like as a band, I wouldn't say any of them. Well, maybe the drummer, but any of them individually are like outstanding. But as a band, they write really unique stuff. But
Yes.
they're so repetitive and
Yes.
boring, and they just drag on. And I'm like, okay, get to the point. That's why I like Chevelle, because Chevelle's like, hey guys, we're Tool, but we get to the point. Like we're not gonna write a 10-minute song. We're gonna write a 4-minute.
I'd
song.
rather listen to an old Tool song than Chevelle, though. I mean, not that Chevelle has some decent songs like Jars. I like Jars.
Yeah.
But
Vitamin R is amazing.
Old Tool is good.
Send the Pain Below. Chevelle's
No,
amazing.
everything by Chevelle is amazing. I will say the last 2 albums have been weak, but before that, everything was amazing. But my point is, Chevelle is just a version of Tool that gets to the point. And Tool is this band that's like, we've got to be different and annoying, and I find it to be try-hardish.
Speaking of getting to the point in tools, are you gonna say something important? Or?
Yeah.
That's not a bad Greg way.
It seems like you
There,
wanted to say
Daniel.
something, so let's get to it. What is it that you need to say to everybody? Now, Derek, I know. Listen. Coming out is special for everyone, and I just want to give you the floor.
I feel like every week you guys have me come out.
Just speak from the heart.
We support you.
I was talking to Nate Bacon on the phone last night, and we talked for like an hour and a half. And probably every 5 minutes, the guy interrupted me, serious conversation, to tell me how I'm in love with Sasan. Like every 5 minutes, like so just like you and Sasan. I'm like, okay, Nate, you do realize Sasan and I are not a real couple. This is not a real relationship.
Are you sure?
Dude, you have to have known that there are going to be some people out there who are like, well, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, are you sure?
I bet you, I don't have a lot of people on my friends list because I don't do what Frank Clark does, like publicly, where he's like, I'm going to delete blah, blah, blah people. I just go in randomly and I'll be like, I haven't talked to this person in like 2 years. I don't want them spying on my and I just delete them. And so I have only like 175 friends. And I'm sure right now there's at least 70 to 75 of them that are questioning whether this good, conservative Christian white boy is now in love with a whacked out, crazy, gay, liberal, foreign guy. So I'm sure.
Let's just call it what it is. He's a terrorist, and we know it. Okay.
He's a gay terrorist.
Yeah, we accept him for who he is.
If their poor little conservative Christian white boy has gone astray, people, I am here to say, I have not gone astray. Because even if I was gay, I would not date Sasan. He's not.
Dude, he's way out of your league. He's way out of your league.
Shut up. I don't care what his muscle.
Have you seen the comics that guy makes? Creativity wise,
you're all into personality. I'm into looks. Like I don't care if you're a freaking rock as long as you're hot.
I mean,
I'm
he's
just
not
going
as
based
jacked
off.
as he
I'm
used
just
to
going
be,
based off his old pictures. That he posted.
Sure.
Just going based off.
I thought he was cute, like when he was younger.
He was
did you hear that I said that? Did you hear?
Dude, I think you really do need to take a moment and come out to the world.
I thought he was cute.
Oh my gosh.
I thought he was cute, but I'm hot. He's okay.
This is the gayest, like,
by far,
fathers /
easily
podcast.
This is what happens when we give Derek the reins, or I should say when he takes the reins, but without us even knowing.
That's true.
Maximum grinding going on right now.
So since I am the lead guy this week, why don't we kick off the show by like jumping into what are you guys playing? If it's something new, if it's the same crap, unless you have something new to say about the same crap, I don't want to hear about it. Let's start off with Tim.
All right, boss man.
Because I'm looking to take a nap, so let's go ahead and get you going.
Playing some more Secret of Mana on that Mana collection of Mana, whatever it is. It's so fun. Love it. Love that game. A lot of nostalgia there. For me personally, I think it holds up for someone who wants to go play an old Super Nintendo style game. But I'm also, I will admit, there's a lot of nostalgia there for me replaying it. So I think it still holds up as a pretty fun action RPG. But
there are 3 games, so are you saying as a whole it holds up, or
no? The first one doesn't. So I played a little bit of
say.
Final Fantasy Adventure, and I was like, "Holy crap! I forgot how bad this is." And I'm sure that for its time, it was probably great, but it's really tough to get through now.
Right.
The hit radius for enemies is huge, but the hit radius when you're swinging at them is just minute. So it's really tough. So the difficulty is high. It's also just not that fun. But Secret of Mana is a lot of fun, very colorful. I think the graphics still look pretty good compared to a lot of indie games that are out today for sure. I just think it's really intriguing. It's really fun. So playing a little bit of that. I'll talk about Witcher 3 here in a bit. I'm sure Derek has some things to say about Witcher 3 on the Switch because I am replaying that one. And just wanted to give you a couple quick hits of more Apple Arcade games I'm playing. Hey, listen, Grindstone is legitimately an awesome strategy puzzle game. It's quite good. Like it would be worth your money.
You need to listen because you love indies now. So
no, you know what? Let me cut him off because
no. Grindstone isn't an indie game.
This is my show.
It's not an indie game.
So here's the thing. I'm watching today at work. I'm watching our last episode. I'm not through the whole thing. And Tim goes on and on about this damn arcade thing, and I must have zoned out last week when we were recording, because I did not realize how long he went on. Like, I legit fell asleep in the middle of my item. You know I almost got fired from a job that I'm about to get fired from?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so anyway, Grindstone is an awesome game.
Care.
For those of you who have Apple Arcade, let me save you some time on a couple games. Red Rain, simple but crappy RTS game, not really worth your time. Tint is only good if you're super into art and color and all that kind of stuff. Do not type. I'm tired of editing out your typing. VariousDayLife is from Square, the guys who developed Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default. But it is very much kind of a life job simulator. It's very anime, very anime style with tons of...
That's a different turn.
It is. Yeah, totally. Huh. But it is a... there's lots of dialogue, and you pick different jobs, and you go out on these quests. You don't actually go out and hit... There's no like action that you do. You send them out on quests, and then you see the results afterwards. There's some inventory management. There's some adventure-style conversations you have to have. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's really...
Sonic Racing.
I didn't play Sonic Racing. I did play Hot Lava, which is kind of hilarious. Did you guys ever watch the old G.I. Joe Saturday morning cartoons or something like it?
No, there's the little goofy like dubs of G.I. Joe that I love.
Okay.
That's just a whole separate thing.
Well, so. I guess there's a lot of Saturday morning cartoons that could fit this bill. Even a lot of Marvel ones would. But if you fire up Hot Lava, it jumps right into what feels very much... It's actually called Global Action Team. And it goes into this group of kind of X-Men or G.I. Joe style characters that are fighting against evil, and they all have real cheesy names, and there's cheesy music, and it's a very grainy film. It's basically just meant to be, hey, remember old Saturday morning cartoons? We've made a game that is based on kids who are pretending to be characters in our made-up cartoon. So you are kids in a house, and if you ever played like Don't Touch the Floor, There's Lava... That's basically what this game is. Like, you are a couple kids with these big imaginations, and you've been watching a lot of this TV show, and then you're trying to traverse around a house or a school gym or a playground, and there's what you see is it kind of looks like a VR game, if I'm being honest with you, but it's on your phone, and you actually have to move your phone to look around.
Interesting.
It is very interesting, but it's not amazing, but I think as a VR game, it could do really well. And the last one I played that I'll mention is Sayonara Wild Hearts. If you're super into kind of that Tron style visuals, it's very black background, bright neon lines on the front to make up all these characters. About this one. There's tons of stylish music and visuals in it, but the gameplay reminds me a little bit of something like Thumper minus the need to hit things in rhythm. Because you're on like a single track and you can kind of move back and forth and you're dodging obstacles, collecting hearts. It's kind of on rails type of thing. So anyway, those are the only ones I've played. Listen, I know there's people who are trying out Apple Arcade, and there's over 100 games, so I wanted to give you a couple recommendations. I do think Hot Lava, Sayonara, and Grindstone are probably worth your time. The rest of them, not so much. That's it.
Thanks,
Eric,
I appreciate that. That was great. Daniel, do you have anything that...
Do not pretend like you don't have any games on your phone right now.
I don't.
Pull up your phone. Pull up your phone right now. Let's look at it. Let's look at it.
I'm sure the next... I'm sure the next time he's listening to us.
I downloaded, what was the free, Mario Kart, and never played it. I just deleted it.
It's not great.
I didn't even try to play it. But I saw my daughter playing it, and I was like, you're not even driving. It's driving itself. Yeah, they do the gas. I just turn. I'm like, all right, this is stupid.
It looks pretty good for a phone game, but it's not that fun to play.
Not when you have the real Mario Kart.
Oh,
Daniel, anything new?
Why are you yelling at me? Appreciate your damn attitude.
I have to get aggressive with Tim because he gets feisty every once in a while. This is one of his nights. He's getting feisty.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's because you're throwing your power around.
I need a beer.
Like some kind of
I need to go get a beer.
His alpha male personality is getting triggered.
Ay.
Beta the beta.
So the Indivisible game I mentioned last episode, I haven't actually even touched because this was my first week in my new position, so I've just gotten home and I've been kind of tired, so I didn't jump into that. But I was replaying Resident Evil 2 remake because it's October, and I'm gonna play a spooky game because that's what people do.
Is this your third time playing it though?
Overall?
Well, no, I'm talking remake, not Resident Evil 2.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's the fourth because I'm trying to do hardcore difficulty, so I'm trying to go through that. It's not easy at all.
Well, I was playing. Yeah, I was playing on my third playthrough, and X was getting on my nerves. And I wasn't playing on hardcore.
Yeah.
So I can imagine. Is he the one giving you problems, or is it just enemies in general?
I mean, it's if you can, it's easy to dodge him unless like he's coming straight at you, and he can catch up with you, which is what's kind of frustrating. It's almost like you have to have a corner to take, so he kind of gets thrown off a little bit. But it's just there's a lot of dodging involved because ammo is scarce. But I mean, technically, you can use the infinite ammo weapons, and that's actually allowed because I think the way that they've set up the remake is. It's almost like impossible to play with guns that require ammo. So,
So wait, even the guns that have infinite ammo are easier to use, you're saying?
Well, yeah, because like so when you beat the previous modes, the better grade that you get, then the more things that you unlock.
Got it.
As you kind of
future
climb
playthroughs.
up. Yeah, for future playthroughs, exactly.
Okay.
So you can use
first time
those
playing
things.
through might be the toughest one for a lot of people.
I mean, if you're playing on, when I was playing on normal, I didn't think it was too bad.
But if you know what you're doing, no. Yeah. But if you're brand new to Resident Evil, yeah, because you're going to be limited on resources, and the zombies take a lot of hits, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to aim for the head, then obviously you have potential for wasting ammo. But
and then there's like a sewers part. This is a little later in the game, but there's a sewer part. And I was like running through the sewer. Like I didn't want to be in the water. It was gross. So I just kept running. I'm like, damn, these enemies keep popping up. And they were like bullet sponges. Like literally all my bullets were going on these enemies. And then on my second playthrough or something, I was reading like a walkthrough for that area. And somebody said, you need to walk through the water or whatever so these guys don't pop up as much. And I'm like, oh, I could have avoided fighting these guys if I would have just walked. So it's annoying because you're walking really slow. But my point is sharing that is there's little things, subtle things you can do in the game to save
get through
ammo.
Areas that seem
to get through areas without wasting a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
This kitten's going crazy again, and I'm scared she's gonna like eat my wires. These are different headphones. These are Eli's headphones. I had another pair that I've been using. Well, I went to use them this week, and she bit through the cord. So she's already destroyed.
You gotta.
What's he watching?
Eli? Eli, what are you watching?
We're gonna get a copyright strike.
What are you watching though? What show? Why are you angry?
Because I don't respect you, Dad.
But you're gorgeous at the same time. That's what drives me nuts. Oh, there you go. Angry
Shut up, Dad.
He's angry and gorgeous. Come over here so I can hold you like a little kitten.
Oh, Jesus.
Come here, baby.
I was just saying we could hear that in the background, so while you're talking, you're going to hear a lot of background noise of...
All right, Eli, turn it down. Tim is saying he doesn't want to edit you out, but he wants this.
Jesus.
Please, more of that. Yes.
I'm very stealthy with it. I feel like...
Dude, you are not stealthy. I had to edit out so much typing. Like Daniel or I would be talking, and all of a sudden our voices disappear with clack, 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 clack. It's like, well...
The moral of the story here is, Tim, that we don't let this schmuck take control of these episodes.
I know.
Is what
I'm sitting here trying to give people insights into all different kinds of games and how there's so many different
I've hurt his
platforms
feelings.
to play
Let me sincerely apologize. Because I've already heard enough people's feelings this week, and I'm just so sorry.
I'm excited to hear this. Please continue.
I offend my wife when I walk in the room.
Okay.
I offend you when I'm on the podcast.
Of course.
I upset. What's that guy's name? Rudy's friend Heralt today. He called me an a-hole.
Did you?
Oh, dude, you guys should have seen this battle. It was amazing. It was classic, like Derek versus like Sean Messler type stuff.
Ooh,
this is old.
Messler.
This is old school battle right here.
I miss.
But I'm not
Messler.
going to go into it because like I'm not going to read it line for line.
Well, I mean, I miss like just watching the dumb things that he was
observing
saying,
from a
so
distance.
Yeah.
He actually, Heralt guy, I think that's his name, Heralt. He actually brought up Messler in it. He's like, "Oh my god, this is like talking to Messler." I'm like,
he compared you to Messler. Oh my gosh.
All right, so last thing I'll throw in real quick. Doraemon Story of Seasons. So Derek, this is kind of down your alley.
What?
It's,
God. You
so
guys.
the wife and I have been playing it because my wife is actually into the Harvest Moon series.
She's got
and
great
I think-
taste.
I know she does. That's why
Married
she married
you
me.
and Harvest.
There
Moon.
are 2 video games that Derek likes and approve of. Maybe 3. That's it. If it's not Rocket League or Bloodborne or Resident Evil, he doesn't want to hear about it. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
You can talk about The Witcher 3. I'll let you talk about The Switcher.
Great. Go ahead, Daniel. Tell me about Harvest Moon, whatever this
Yeah, I
is.
mean, if you're familiar with the Harvest Moon series, it's basically the same thing, but this one is sort of an offshoot because Doraemon is, I guess, an old anime series. I don't know anything about it. I've seen the characters before.
Did Derek just hang up on us?
I
Did
don't know.
Did he just hang up?
Probably. He's like, Harvest Moon, I'm out.
Oh my
out.
gosh. Okay,
But,
continue.
Yeah, just basically, if you're familiar with Harvest Moon, it's more or less the same thing. There's a few different things. I don't know if it pertains to the Story of Season series, because I don't really know much about the Story of Season series as a whole. I just know that the guys that used to work on Harvest Moon, I think, then started doing Story of Seasons because of some sort of publishing issue. But I don't know about... I've tried reading into the specifics of it in the past, and I didn't really get it.
Does it kind of just feel like playing a Harvest Moon game for the most part?
The basic structure of it, yes. I mean, growing crops and
Yeah.
you know,
You start out with a farm that's pretty empty, and you got to start with simple crops, and you grow,
Yeah.
get more animals and all
people
that
in the
stuff.
village, you give them things, and then your
Mhm.
relationship grows and it unlocks different things, and
Dude, it's kind of like,
et cetera.
I mean, Stardew Valley to me was like the better version of Harvest Moon, honestly. Like, I loved Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
So if it's down that same path, then awesome.
This game though is gorgeous. It's literally just straight up a moving painting. Like the visuals are amazing. Like I
Really?
just honestly,
I thought it was
look
like
up
a pixelated old school thing.
No, well, no, I'm saying Doraemon Story Seasons is like it's like a water painting. Like look up some
Nice.
images or watch like a whatever trailer, like a 50-second trailer. Like if you don't want to watch the whole thing, it's gorgeous. Like
Hey,
that's
Derek, can you say
the best
something?
thing
I want
about
the
it.
camera to go on you for a second.
Why? Can you hear me? There's my cat.
Yeah. You guys ever watch Inspector Gadget?
I mean, a long time ago, sure.
Do you
What was
remember,
his name?
I'm not getting that. No, I'm just
Doctor, no, what was his name?
kidding. Claw? Something
Dr. Claw. Next time, Gadget. That's
Next
what you look like
time.
right now. Just sitting there petting your gray cat.
Look at how sweet she is.
All right, she
Or,
is a cute cat. That is a really cute kitten.
She loves me.
Hey, Kale, come look at my friend's cat. My
Please
son
do not
loves
tell your son that
animals.
we're friends.
Come look at my enemy's cat.
There you got my enemy.
Look at
Friend of
that
me.
cute little kitty.
What?
Yeah, he's adorable.
It's
The
cute.
owner's cuter, but
Cute.
cat's pretty cute too.
She's cutie, right?
Stop telling that little boy that you're cuter than the cat.
He can't hear you. I'm protecting his ears from
Kale,
words that either
Kale,
one of you might say.
Kale, come check out my white van.
No.
Come here.
What's wrong
Creepers.
I've got
Wait,
chocolate
what did
candy
he
bars
say?
waiting for you, little
He
boy.
said, come get in my van.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Stop.
He's out. He's out of here.
Jesus. Yeah, good, smart boy. Jesus.
Got chocolate candy bars and a kitten for you, boy.
The dudes in the van with the straight jacket are showing up to your place.
The
right
candy
now.
bars
Gonna
are for the
take you
fat
there.
girls.
All
And
right,
the
so
kittens are for the
Daniel,
little
did you
boys.
play Stardew Valley, and is this as good?
I mean, it's the same. It's the same along the same concept. Even Stardew Valley kind of had similar flaws to Harvest Moon, whereas like one of the things that bothers me about like that whole kind of genre or series or the different series is like, so you can marry someone, you know, kind of progress like that kind of a relationship and have kids and everything, but like sometimes when you go to certain events in the game, like if there's like a festival going on, like sometimes that character that you're choosing to date or marry or whatever like acts like they don't know you. So a lot of the dialogue,
Pre-scripted. I got you.
yeah, a lot of the dialogue I feel like is just not as well done as it can be, or like it doesn't make sense. Like people act like they don't know you when like they were just having a meaningful conversation with you in some cutscene or something.
Gotcha.
So and that seems to be pretty consistent across the board with these like farming games, whether it's Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon back in the day, even this Doraemon game. Because
Cool.
like I said, it's based off of an anime, so there are characters that are like friends, and then they get thrown into this other world where that's where the farming stuff's happening. But like sometimes they almost kind of act like they don't know you. It's like we've been best friends for years, but you're gonna act like you don't want to talk to me, or like I don't know. Yeah,
Maybe you
but
pissed them off.
well, sure, maybe,
It's true.
but yeah,
All right, well, cool.
it's fun.
So
Yeah.
that Story of Seasons, I think, is on all consoles. I think.
I think it is. If
I know it's
'cause I
definitely
was
on
looking
Switch.
at it's on Switch and PC on
PS4.
Steam, I believe.
Okay, I thought it was on PS4 too. For some reason, it might not be.
Story Seasons. I was just checking the Wikipedia. I think, and it says Microsoft Windows, so I'm pretty sure it's on Steam. I don't know.
One of the
It's definitely
farming
on
games.
Switch.
One of the farming games back in the day I got the most into was Farmville back on Facebook. Remember that?
Sure.
Remember Farmville?
A lot of
Ugh,
people did.
I got way into
Oh,
that game.
yeah. I used to get invites for that crap.
Yeah. It was the only Facebook game that I actually tried, and I was like, this is actually kind of addicting. The stupid farm game. Anyway. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Switcher. The old Switcher
Oh my
3.
gosh! Stop, kid. Jeez.
So this one, of course, it's a point of contention for some people out there, but for most of us, it was like, hey, this is awesome. One of my favorite games of this generation is now available on a handheld. That
Can I
love
go on a
playing.
rant about it?
You absolutely should. So, Derek, take
I
it
wanna
away.
go on a
Switcher
rant.
3, do it.
Because I cannot believe how stupid people are, and I know Jesse's gonna laugh the whole time during this rant. But
Well, you just said he's
it's
going to.
definitely directed towards him, but it's directed to a lot of idiots. Like, how
Yeah.
dumb are people? Like, okay, there are a lot of people.
Oh, can I
that
just say
get it.
before you go into this? Can I just say
Yeah.
there's trolling and there's people who are legitimately upset at the
Yeah.
enjoyment of others, and I think we've crossed that line from
Yeah.
trolling into don't enjoy this. I'm mad you guys are enjoying this. I think we've
Well,
crossed
it's
that line.
not even just like, I wouldn't even say it's like I'm mad that you're enjoying this, which I know you're just joking, but it's more like there's people that are like will come in on a post. It could be my post, but I saw it in other people's posts and stuff, and say, instead of being like blown away that this game is on the Switch. That's the first thing. I think everybody should just be blown away that this thing's on the Switch. And when I say on the Switch, they could technically put any game on it, but on and running smooth. Because the little bit I played, 0 issues with frame rates or anything like that. But it's the fact that they'll come in and they'll be like, why would I play it on the Switch when I can play it another version that looks prettier? And I'm sitting there thinking, after a couple of those, I was like, okay, it's just a few idiots. I can ignore a few idiots. But when it kept going, and this group wasn't that big. This group that I'm talking about, there's like 2,000 members in it, and so that means there's probably like 200 active people, decently active people. And you get like 20 people that are like, nope, doesn't look good. Nope, doesn't look good as my PS4 Pro version. And I'm going, are you retarded? Do you
PC
not
ultra
understand-
settings. That's the only way to
Yeah.
play.
Do you not understand why this is coming to the Switch and why somebody who owns like a PS4 Pro or a PC or an Xbox One X or even just a regular Xbox One version would still want to play this on the Switch? And so I started out by being nice and be like, well, guys, it's great that you don't want it because of the graphics, but the portability is the selling point. And they're just like, portability? Like, what? Well, portability is not for me. Okay, so the game's not for you, but you're acting like people that would buy the Switch version. It's the way a lot of people are saying it. People that would buy the Switch version are dumb because it's uglier than all the other versions. Why would you do that? And yet, I'm over and over, I keep saying, in a nice way, well, portability.
Right.
Daniel, what were you going to say?
Visuals are more important than anything, obviously, right? It's literally the most important thing.
Well, I would say,
kind of like how you prefer visuals of Sasan over anything else. So.
like I said, I will date a good-looking rock over an ugly one with personality. Listen, the point
Sure.
I'm making is while visuals are important, and they are, like, that's the most, I won't say it's the most important thing. If the game sucks, it sucks, but, like, they're very important for me. But when
They're important for everybody, I would argue.
Exactly. When we talked about this last week, I said people that say, "I don't care about visuals," yet you continue to buy current consoles. And yes, you're buying it for current games, but you're also not going back and playing old games. Why? Because when you go back to them, you're like, "Oh, this is ugly," or "It doesn't play as well," because you're advancing on your visual looks. But the point I'm making is the rant I'm having, or the issue I have, is it's so frustrating dealing with the stupidity of most people that you can't see why somebody who's played the Witcher on, like I said, one of these higher end consoles or a PC would ever want to play this on the go, and yet nobody else is saying this about any of the other games. Like, I didn't hear anybody going, "Why would I play Overwatch on the Switch? Why would I play Diablo 3 on the Switch? Why would I play Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch?" You're not asking that because you already know it's portable, and that's why you would buy it on the Switch. Nobody's going to buy The Witcher 3 on the Switch if they are planning to play it on their big screen TV and they have another console. Nobody. But if they don't have another console, or like me and Tim, we have all the other consoles. I own The Witcher 3 on everything. I own it on everything. It's probably
Xbox,
my all-time.
PS4, and now Switch
Yes.
for me. Yep.
I would probably say it's my all-time favorite game. So I have zero problems owning it on every system. And it's probably one of the main reasons why I bought it on the Switch. I just wanted to own it. But the point is why would I buy it? Portability. I even was saying to Kyle Neely today in one of the posts, we were actually having a serious conversation, not razzing each other. And I just said, I like the fact that I now have the option, like tomorrow Michigan's going to play Penn State. So I can put that game on, go sit over in there in the living room, and now I can bring The Witcher 3 with me if I want. And The Witcher 3, while it's a thinking game, technically, I've played it so much, it's one of those games that I can play it like I'm playing Rocket League. Like, I don't need to think. Like, I'm not like, well, what does this item do?
I mean, you could spend hours just tracking down those question marks and clearing out enemy nests.
You don't even have to do story missions. You could just live in White Orchid.
There are a lot of question marks.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
I think the last time I talked about The Witcher 3 on this show was when I played it on my PC, and it was probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Maybe less than that. And I remember it was on a Sunday, and I played for like 4 to 6 hours straight. It was like the first time I'd had a long gaming session. That's why I talked about it on the show. And all I didn't advance the story at all, is I just went around that first big open area going from one question mark to the next question mark to the next question mark. And I was actually like, wow, I never played The Witcher 3 like this before. Every time I've played it, I've kind of I'll go to some of the question marks if they're close by, but I don't go to all of them. And I was like, man, there's a lot of good stuff. I was getting a lot of good items. I was getting a lot of loot so I could sell stuff.
You can get ability points from those places of power. Yep.
The game's a little stingy on the loot, which always pissed me off as far as money-wise. But anyways, the point I was trying to make is The Witcher 3, even if you own this on other consoles, and Tim will touch on this more too, and he'll do it a little more elegantly and boring. But yeah, I have to take cheap shots. But I would say it looks good. I heard somebody say it's like a 360 game. I'd say it's a little better than a 360. You got to remember, anybody who's watching videos of this, like a portable version of it on YouTube, you're seeing an expanded version of what they're playing on a little screen, and it's going to go through all these filters, and it's going to blur it and make it look grosser than it really does. I have it in my face on this little, clean, pretty screen, and I cannot see all the little jaggy lines as clear as you can see it if you go on like YouTube.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube and watch it on your computer or even on your TV, it's gonna look pretty rough.
Yeah,
I did dock this game just to see, and I don't love the way it looks. It runs and it looks fine. It looks very flat. Like in my experience with The Witcher 3, it looks like this pastel painting. It's oil painting. It's very pretty, but there's a depth to every little item, and there's texture on everything. That is certainly missing. Like some of that textured depth is missing on like the roads and in the grass and the trees and stuff.
Of course.
I only noticed it on the big screen. Like Derek's saying, when I play it in handheld, which is primarily how I'm playing this one.
It's
I
how
don't
I'm
know.
gonna
I
play
can't
it.
really see those things. It's too small on a little 6-inch screen to see it. But I can see my character clearly. I can see the enemies clearly. By the way, the
And the
animations,
colors are vibrant.
the
Still
colors are
on those
great. The
small
animations
screens.
are fantastic. Like all the fight animations are there. All the final like decapitations and all that kind of stuff that you see in the combat still there. Still goes into slow mo. Still looks great. All the signs you can perform with the fire still looks great. The lighting, by the way, has surprised me. I was expecting all the cool like light coming through the trees and over the hills during certain times of the day to not be there. It's all there. As I was coming up over the hill with my horse, the sun was setting behind these trees, and all of a sudden I got that effect that you get in The Witcher 3. When the sun is shining in your face, you got the sun rays. I was like, holy crap, they did it on this system. How'd they do this? And early on in the game
Sorcery.
in White Orchard, you have to go swim, and I jumped in the water, and I was like, this water looks amazing. How did they do this? Like I'm not sure how they did it, but overall, the handheld experience, I would rate it as really, really great. The docked experience, not as great. Here's one thing that the Digital Foundry guy said that I 100% agree with. That would make this one of the best ports ever. It already, in my opinion, is one of the best ports ever for Switch. But this would make it truly the best one is if they allowed cross-save, especially with PC. But honestly, if they could figure out cross-save with any other platform, that would be genius. And I'm not sure that everyone involved would ever want to do that. But from a user's perspective, if you could play it on your high-end PC or on your Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, and then you could transfer that save up into CDPR's server somehow and then download it onto your Switch and take it with you, dude, that would be amazing. Now, I don't think that's ever going to happen, but they did it with Divinity Original Sin 2. And to me, that was one of the biggest appeals of that game on the Switch.
That's probably why they brought it up in their
But that was the one
review
big,
of it.
and I didn't think of it as a drawback until he mentioned it, and then I thought about the possibilities, and I was like, oh, that would have been perfect. Because then you never need to dock this game, ever. You could just switch over to
That's one of the reasons why I actually ended up buying Destiny 2 Shadowkeep on PC is because I don't... They were starting everybody at level 750, but if you were starting with a new character, you didn't have all your guns. So one of the things that sold me on going to PC is when they introduced that all of your characters are stored in Destiny 2 servers. And so when you connect to Destiny 2, you can now, as long as you got to do some stuff on their website first, and I did it, you have to connect all of your consoles and all your characters to your ID for Destiny 2.
Fortnite does it. Minecraft does it. Mm-hmm.
So once they did that, I went on my PC and I had a choice. They told me do you want to import your Xbox characters, your PS4, and you can switch at any time. So I imported my Xbox character and I had my Titan, and she had the stuff that all the weapons that I had gotten from previously playing. So I was like, this is awesome. And all of them had been upgraded to a level 750, which is, like I said, the starting point for Shadowkeep. And I was like, this is part of the future for gaming. You're seeing it more, but it's still very, very rare. But you're going to get to a place where you can play a single-player story campaign game on your PS5, but that character is uploaded into their server. So if you buy it on the Xbox One, you can do a second playthrough on your new Xbox console with that same character. I think that's great.
Dude, that's why if Nintendo, and I would assume it'd be Microsoft with how nice they are to each other these days, if they figured out some way that maybe not for every game because they both want exclusives, but if Nintendo really became that portable branch of your Xbox games, and Xbox became your 4K TV version of your Switch games, I mean, if they created any kind of crossover like that, like if Ori could cross save, if those kind of things could, that'd be so.
But it's really, that's more up to the developer and the publisher than it is Microsoft and Nintendo. That's my point. Like, I don't think Bungie went to any of those consoles and said, hey guys, can we do this? They were just like, we're going to do this. It's
Psyonix had to do it for cross-play.
You're connecting our server. Huh?
You have to do it for cross-play, but you're right. For cross-save.
I'm talking about cross-save.
Yeah.
So this is really just up to develop, and that's why I said more of them are going to do it because they're gonna build it into their games. They're going to be like, look, we already know we're releasing this on the PS5, and I'll just call it Xbox 2. we're going to release it on these consoles, so we're just going to create it where you guys can start your playthrough on the PS5. You want to buy another copy of your game and continue it instead of playing on your PS5. You want to play on your Xbox 2, you can do it, or PC, whatever.
Yeah.
Stadia.
Really
all
should just
that.
be a given now. I think that should be something that they should have started pushing this
Agreed.
gen.
Yeah.
Well, they are. That's what I'm saying. They are starting
Earlier
to push it
this
now.
gen.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
earlier in this gen, I don't know
That'd
if they
be great.
had. I don't know if they had the ability.
I mean,
I don't
we've had
think-
cloud saves since last gen, right?
Yeah, but they didn't have that's for the consoles and stuff like that. I'm talking about the reason I can bring up Destiny 2 is because Destiny 2 runs all their own servers and stuff like that.
Because they have to.
Until like for instance, we'll use the Remedy. Why would Remedy do it? They could probably do it now, but I'm saying if they released the game 3 years ago,
Yeah,
as a
what's the
single-player
motivation to
game,
create online accounts?
That's what I'm
a
saying.
Huge effort. Yeah.
Now it's probably a lot cheaper. They can create their own server just for you to have like your own account with them. Like they now have a reason to do that, and they can build in like a reward system, all that stuff like Uplay. Now each publisher or each developer can do that.
Let me
So
ask
now
you
they have
guys
a reason.
this. With the news that Call of Duty is going to go with more of a Battle Pass approach to their DLC, and I'm thinking about Battle Pass stuff, do you guys think, would you, for franchises that you already love, for a new entry that's coming out, would you pay that extra for access to that online account that lets you cross over to different consoles? Would that be worth it to you as part of a Battle Pass or a season add-on of some kind?
So you're saying let's say I buy the game for $60, and then
And you
I
pay
want to
some
play
sort
it
of-
on a different.
You
I
pay
just
some sort of
$10.
fee for online.
No, I'm gonna be Daniel Freitas on this. I'm gonna be a cheap ass. No, that should be built into the game. If
Yes.
I'm already giving you my money multiple times to own this game on multiple consoles, because that's the only way I'm gonna use the same save on different consoles. I gotta buy the game. So if I'm buying it multiple times, that should be built into where, hey, if I'm playing on my Xbox 2 and I want to play with my PS5 character, that should be built in.
I can't imagine the upkeep at the server level would be that intense for a save. That's
what I'm saying.
So-
They're already doing this now. I'm just mentioning Destiny because they're already online for everything. So it made sense for them to do this. The point is these single player, your Remedies, your Insomniacs, all them, they're going to start doing it too because they're going to start building their own probably reward system. They're going to want to connect with their audience more. Kind of like I was saying, Uplay. You log into a Ubisoft game, they ask you, do you want to go to your Uplay account and unlock all these rewards? Remedy, all of them are going to do that too. I know they are. That's what they're going to start doing. And so if they're going to do that, they're going to also tie that in with cross saves. They want you to connect with them more.
Are you saying they're going to do that because you actually like Uplay? Because I see a lot of people that say they can't stand that thing.
I've got no problem with Uplay.
I don't use it unless I'm strictly going in to unlock rewards. So
Dude,
I have zero issues with it.
I log into every Ubisoft game with my Uplay account because it gives you all kinds of different credits and unlocks.
I
a
feel
lot
like
of times
they
for
do
other
a
games,
lot of
like
enough stuff.
in Ghost Recon, I got stuff from Division and from Assassin's Creed and a bunch of other Ubisoft games that
I like that they
played.
reward you for playing their games. They're
right.
like, hey, you want to log into Uplay for the Division 2? We see that you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Here's this emblem.
Yeah, here's your little emblem.
that
Yep,
type of
yep.
stuff. So I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the issues with Uplay is probably the interface. Could they clean that up? Yes, but I still think what they're doing, and they could do more, but what they're doing right now is cool.
Well, it's not that hard to earn some of those little Uplay coins or whatever, and you can unlock
No,
skins.
it's basically tied to
guns,
the
and-
achievements usually.
Yeah.
And
it's
speaking
fine.
of that, Tim, I don't know if you'll care, but Tim had already bought the Division 2 on the Xbox One, and I was using his copy of the game to play. But I actually got $15 from my son Eli's account. So I went on Eli's account, and I used his $15 because he gave it to me. I didn't steal it from him, although I should have. And I bought the Division
You got it
2.
anyway. You're just annoyed at the way you got it.
So I went on his account, and I bought it as
My
a
son
gift.
is
I
too
bought
kind.
the Division 2,
Yeah.
but I bought the Ultimate Edition, which means it has the Season 1 pass.
Okay.
Year 1, Season 1 pass.
I actually have not kept up with it much since I beat
I was
the
going to say,
main
you
game.
probably don't care, but I'm just letting you know. I did buy it because I was like, I don't own the Division 2 anyways.
Have they put out major releases since
it
came out?
I think they've already released 2 things, 2 packs, at least one.
It's up there with my favorite games of the year. I love the Division 2.
So I'm actually going to probably try to jump back into it since I went ahead and purchased it for myself. It was just $30 total for the Ultimate Edition. So I'm talking about the $100 version is only $30, and I only paid $15 out of pocket. So I didn't.
If you guys get it on PS4, I'll play.
Look at that.
We're
face.
still waiting for you to be relevant. I mean, Daniel, I don't want to point out the obvious, but I'm going to. Nobody's taking you serious on this podcast. I'm talking about us here and in the group because they all know you don't own an Xbox One. They don't take it serious.
I mean,
that's what makes gamers serious.
It's not my fault that 200-something people in our Facebook group like a terrible system. I mean, it's not my fault. I mean, look at Jesse White. Look at Jesse White. He's always like, "Oh, the Xbox."
Hey,
I'm like,
guys, he's already gotten way too many mentions this episode. Okay, let's stop talking. Yeah,
he's not on our podcast. Nobody cares.
Listen, he's up there in the up there in the boonies of freaking Maine.
All right, speaking of Jesse White, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of him is The Witcher 3 on Switch and how good it is. So I just wanted to say one more quick thing about it. I'm not that far into it. I'm still going through all the stuff in White Orchard. I've played this game through from start to finish once all the way, and then a second time a good chunk all the way through with New Game Plus stuff. I've done all the DLC. I've put plenty of time in this game. I'm in no hurry, so I'm just taking my time. It's kind of one of those ones that I'll just chip away at, play in little chunks here and there, maybe in longer chunks, depending on what else is out. But I will say this. It is the complete experience. It runs really well. It still has some of the jankiness that if you already didn't like the way the horse riding works or moving around or combat, if it wasn't your thing, they haven't changed any of that stuff. But if you did like that, or if that wasn't a big showstopper for you, it still plays just as smoothly as before. The good and the bad and everything in between. The big difference are going to be some of the visuals, the textures that have been sort of flattened out. And if you watch that Digital Foundry video on YouTube, you can see that a lot of it, in my opinion, I'm not even trying to be biased here. I'm trying to be as objective as I can. A lot of the things he points out, I think, are pretty nitpicky. Like overall, that thing looks and plays fantastically. And he even admits that a few times. He's like, this is overall pretty impressive. So that's the last thing I'll say about it for now. But I'm loving it.
I mean, that is his job, is to nitpick.
Oh, absolutely.
And he did a good job. I've watched a lot of their other videos, and there'll be stuff that they'll say that they're like, "Do you see this?" And they'll put up 2 images, and I'm like, "You do realize if I'm playing the game,
I'll never see that.
I'm never seeing."
Yeah, but their breakdown is great. Their breakdown is really helpful. I love the frame rate breakdown as well. Like the frame rate holds up shockingly well. With a few dips here and there.
I will echo Tim on this, and I will say that objectively, so you can try to say I'm being biased, I don't really care. But objectively, when I launched it and I looked at this, I was like, I was actually blown away. And I went into it not with low standards. I went into it with kind of high standards because I had already watched the Digital Foundry. I had watched other videos that were talking about how this game looks good, it runs good, it's shockingly good. And so I was like expecting it to be good. Did I see some stuff that was a little off? Yes. But I was also like, again, maybe it's to me, this is all about perspective. And for me, my perspective was, I'm holding this major game in the palm of my hands on this little screen, and it's running this game, and it looks good, plays good, feels good. I think it's worth the $50 that I spent on it. I don't regret it.
I think they put the power of the system, whatever is there, towards the right things. The gameplay, the combat looks great. The characters' faces, I think, deliver almost as well as the other systems do, and their armor looks great. The enemies, like already did that Griffin battle. The Griffin looked amazing. It's mostly the environments that took the hit. And I do see, like, for example, as you're riding your horse or swimming and you get close to shore, then you start seeing the bushes and the grass start to pop up. You see the pop-in happen every once in a while. Yep, absolutely that happens. And if you can't play a game because of that, then don't play this one, because that does happen.
Well, and then don't play a game on the Switch unless it's a Nintendo game. Bottom line. Like, you cannot play anything realistic.
Don't play anything on the base PS4 or Xbox One either, because modern-day games on those systems, they have pop-in. They have slowdown.
God,
They've
Xbox
got frame rate
One,
issues.
like, I couldn't stand like I was an Xbox fanboy going into this generation, and I want to say the first 2 to 3 years of this generation, probably 3 years, I became a Sony pony because all games were bought on the PlayStation unless it was an Xbox exclusive, and the reason is I could not stand how ugly games were on the Xbox. They were just ugly, and the PlayStation was just a little bit better. Some of them were fantastic looking, but as the generation went on, and we got these upgrades, you could really see how ugly these games are.
Yeah.
So I would say The Witcher 3 looks like a lower version of an Xbox One type game.
Listen, I still remember playing. I was wrapping up the final DLC on the PS4 with Witcher 3, the Blood and Wine, some of the final cutscenes, and a character loads up standing perpendicular and inside of Geralt. So for that entire cutscene, a woman's ear and side of her head are coming out of his face for these final. And
Nice.
that's just the way the game just glitched. It just had a glitch moment, and it populated that character right where he was standing, and it was hilarious and glitchy, and it is what it is. Like, for us to look at that and say, well, then that's not worth playing on that console at all. That makes no sense to me, because there were plenty of glitchy moments in some of my favorite games on some of the most powerful consoles. But we digress. We talk too much about it. It's good.
We
it's
like
worth
it.
your money.
It's good. If you're on the fence about it, don't be. If
Physical
you're
edition is
planning on
cool
playing.
too. I should go get the
Yeah.
stuff. But the
They
physical edition
They
has
went
some
above
cool
and
stuff.
beyond again with their physical release, which is what I got. But I will say this: I'm stating the obvious, but you got to state it because there's apparently a lot of dumb idiots in this world. If this is the only way you can play The Witcher 3, it's worth it. If you want it for portability, it works well, it's worth it. If you are only planning to play this on a big screen TV and you have another system or a PC,
Yeah.
don't buy
Xbox
it
One X. Yep.
on the Switch. Don't.
Yep.
I
I
thought
think
that
that's
was
pretty
common sense.
self-explanatory.
It is
Again,
self-explanatory.
you would think so, but
You
go
would
go
think.
post it in another group. They're retarded. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, I know
Well, it's
you
because
love
you're
that
on the
word.
internet, Derek. I mean, come on, what are you doing?
Stay off of the internet, pal.
Oh my god, this game looks terrible. It doesn't look like my PC version that's on ultra settings. Thanks, dummy.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, Daniel, help
Captain
us
Obvious.
jump into this next section here. I want to talk about some of our most iconic favorite video game music.
Yeah.
And
This is pretty much going to be the Final Fantasy music segment. So
Final Fantasy music. All right, but Final Fantasy music is not just one main theme that runs throughout. So one of the things I
Well-
did write down was there are a few little jingles, like the old school battle and victory tunes. I feel like are pretty consistent, right? Like when you win a
there
battle,
is a crystal
it's-
theme.
There's a crystal theme.
Yes. So, like, for example, like, what was it? A few months ago, I went to Distant Worlds, which is the orchestra that travels. Well, actually, no, they don't travel. It's what's this? Is it? I forget his first name. Roth is the last name of the conductor, and he travels around with some people, but basically they use the local orchestras of where they of the venue of where they're basically having the concert, and they're doing orchestral versions of the Final Fantasy soundtrack across the entire 30 years.
Is it called
And
the
yeah, they
crystal
always
theme
start
or
off-
just like the
yeah.
main theme?
Yeah, the crystal theme, and that's pretty much how they always kick off every show is they do the crystal theme. Because then last year, when my wife and I went to North Carolina, South Carolina, I don't even remember which
this it?
Carolina we went to now.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, yeah. That's it. There you go. That part right there, especially.
All right, so that is the crystal. That's a amazing piece of music, by the way. If you haven't listened to the London Philharmonic Orchestra, they've got 2 albums of greatest video game music, and it's like that. It's just like fully orchestrated, gorgeous takes on.
Honestly, just go to
Some
YouTube
iconic
and
songs.
type in Distant Worlds and
Okay.
just try to listen to some of their renditions. There's some live renditions, even though people aren't supposed to have their cell phones recording.
But they do,
Of course.
of course.
But I'm pretty sure you can stream, maybe not Distant Worlds. I think you can just stream the soundtrack of Final Fantasy, but they might actually have the albums on YouTube. I could be wrong because I
Okay.
actually physically have the CDs. I bought them at the concerts. of like the actual like high quality versions of them, and it's just I don't. I mean, obviously, I'm very connected to the series,
And it's
so
called
like
Distant Worlds. That's the name.
Distant Worlds is
Distant
the
Worlds,
name
okay.
of like sort of the show.
Okay, got it.
And then they have the orchestra there. Yeah.
All right. Well,
and,
here's a few other iconic ones that I think are worth mentioning. Of course, everyone recognizes this one.
Is that Sonic?
You suck.
That's gotta go fast.
Of course, that is the original Super Mario Bros. Theme song, and I even love like the little fake drums, the little MIDI drums in there. It's fantastic.
That's definitely one of the most iconic just pieces of music.
I think so.
It has to be, right?
I think it is.
I mean, obviously, you could be like, "Oh, like Beethoven, friggin' whatever," you know, Mozart, whatever. But I'm saying, like, you know, in our lifetime, I guess.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, there is. See if I can find a good example of this one here. There's so many, but I just want to hit a couple of these. Let's see if this does it.
I mean, it's gonna be a lot of Nintendo stuff.
Nope, that's not it.
Yep, there you go.
There we go. Dude, that's so good.
It definitely is.
It's amazing what they could do back on those systems that really couldn't deliver much of a punch in terms of visuals or responsiveness of gameplay, but the music they could pump out was pretty impressive back then.
Just the beeps and boops.
Yeah.
And actually make music, coherent music that, you know, nowadays you're just like, oh, I know what that theme is.
Yep. It was absolutely impressive. Well, so we've already talked about a couple older ones, but I would actually suggest that there are some more recent games that have what I consider to be iconic theme music. So here's an example of that. See how long it takes us to get into it here. You recognize this at all?
Yeah, it sounds very familiar, but it's not. It's not
hitting the hook yet.
Oh, is it Uncharted?
It is Uncharted, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And it hasn't hit like the pickup moment yet. But I would argue that the Uncharted theme, which carries through all their games in different forms, is pretty iconic at this point. That's just maybe it's just for me, but I feel like the Uncharted music is pretty iconic.
There's I don't know if it's like the theme specifically for Last of Us, but there's definitely I think there's a specific theme if you typed in like Last of Us like theme song maybe.
Absolutely, and I actually
it's that
think
little guitar part.
Like, yeah, it's this really
very somber.
Yes, and it has like it resonates for a long time. There's lots of like reverb on it. I would actually put it in that same bucket of really memorable tunes as something like honestly, I think I Am Setsuna has a super memorable soundtrack. If not, it's not super iconic yet. It's one game, right? And it's a small game. But I think Last of Us is in that same category where it's really super memorable.
Halo's main theme is like iconic. Like as soon as you hear it.
A specific one, or is that one carries over through all of them, right?
Yeah, it plays on every one of them, I'm pretty sure. I don't have my phone on me, so I can't play it, but like as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh.
The problem is a lot of these have these long ambient openings.
Like, you hear this and you just think space.
But that's it. As soon as I hear that, I know it's Halo. Like, I wasn't sitting there going, I wonder what he's playing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, it just has the feeling of space.
But for
like,
me,
it's a Space Odyssey.
I don't listen to, I don't know if you guys do. I don't listen to a lot of game soundtracks. I really don't. I
do during work these days. I put on because that way if I have lyrics, a lot of times I get more distracted. But if I just have instrumental, I can usually still get a lot of work done. So I do have a lot of video game and movie soundtracks on mix at work.
Well, you should listen to Fearless Motivation. They're really good and they don't sing. But anyways, I would say my two favorite, and they're more modern, is definitely Ori and the Blind Forest. And then I would say Mass Effect Andromeda. I really like their the main theme song. Like, I'll just listen to it over and over. And then this is totally different soundtrack, but I enjoy it, and I loved it while I was playing the game. Yeah, Ori.
It's
is
good.
Doom.
It's very haunting.
Dude, the Ori music is
Have you
movie
played
or video game. It's some of the
Ori?
best music.
Daniel?
I haven't bought it yet, but I'm definitely going to buy it. Like I absolutely want to play
I
it.
feel like that's a game, like, I
You gotta
joke
get it.
around about you being relevant, but you are not relevant until you play that game.
Okay,
So,
sure.
You gotta
So you
get
need
it.
I
to
mean,
buy it.
like I said,
do
when
not
that-
wait
when
for a
they-
sale. You just got a promotion. Go on
Listen,
the store
I need to
tonight.
be frugal, all right?
Oh gosh.
Listen, I got plenty of things on my plate. That's why I'm trying to be
All
like
right.
the moment.
Well-
Well, how long is the game, by the
I
way?
don't know. You look like
Ori?
you eat a lot, so I don't
It
think
can-
there's a
it
lot
can
on
take-
your plate.
Really?
I want to say
Really?
Ori's in the 12 to 15 hour range, depending on how good you
Okay.
are.
So that's not too long then. So
Put
I
it
can
on
fit that
easy
in.
mode, like your boy Derek.
I'm not playing. No, I
All
don't
right,
play
here's
games on easy.
here's another iconic
I
one
don't
for
do
me,
that.
at least. I'm gonna have to skip ahead on some of these. You recognize this one?
Is this
No, it
older
sounds
or
creepy,
newer?
though.
It's a little older.
I don't recognize it.
Feels like Star Ocean to me. It's not Star Ocean because that.
That little
Oh,
loop, that little hook right there. It's a Square game. It's
Jesus. Yep.
it's Chrono Trigger.
There we go.
It's got a real great hook.
I was
there
actually
with the
gonna say
music.
Chrono Trigger a second ago. I was like, yeah, what about Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross? Chrono Cross actually has excellent music as well.
I don't remember it, but I know they had a soundtrack that released with it, so I assume
Yeah.
it's good.
Like the overworld, like the world map, like that
Mhm.
overworld world map theme is fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought.
It's really chill.
Did you all like Doom's the new Doom?
Oh yeah, dude.
I thought that was
2016
like
Doom,
a totally I thought it was
which
like
actually, side note, I just beat the other day.
oh, okay.
So
Great
that
game.
music is excellent.
Yeah,
it's
that
metal, dude.
music fits the gameplay and the style.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Sounds like a Slipknot album.
But dude, when you're blowing up aliens and smashing
Oh,
them to
yeah.
bits with that music, it's perfect.
honestly,
perfect.
it doesn't kick in fast enough. There are moments where like I'm shooting things and it's like, why isn't the music already here? Like, what's going on?
You're way ahead of it, man.
Yeah, I'm like, I need this now.
Another one is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. There's the guitarist from one of Daniel's favorite bands, Para, whatever, I don't remember their name. What's that band you really like?
Periphery?
Yeah. Periphery. But the
Peripheral.
guitarist, he wrote
Nailed it.
Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's like I think he
Did he?
wrote most of the soundtrack, but I'm pretty sure he did like the main theme.
It's Michael McCann.
okay.
And so it's got like this, it's kind of, if I'm remembering it correctly, and I listened to this one too, it's got like this orchestra sound, but then it kicks in with the heavy, deep guitars that you hear like on Doom and stuff like that.
Oh wait, that's main menu. That's not going to help us.
It might be like the last song. It's actually, you know, it's the end credits song.
Are you
I
talking
don't know
about
what it's
Misha?
called.
Or Misha?
Is that it?
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'll have to find it. You guys can talk about other stuff.
All right, Daniel,
But-
what's one that jumps out at you as iconic that we haven't talked about?
I was trying to think because honestly, a lot of the times when you're talking about iconic video game music, a lot of it is going to be older, and a lot of it's going to be Nintendo.
Of course.
One of the first things that popped in my head is the Mega Man series, like the main Mega Man theme. Amazing.
The original Mega Man theme.
Yeah. Like that theme.
I remember the Mega Man 2 theme.
Yeah, this is it. It's by Misha Mansura.
Yep.
That's Deus Ex.
Yeah, it's the end credits, but I'll try to fast forward to see if it. Yeah, he builds it. So it starts out kind of like orchestra, and then, but it's just one of those tunes where I can like zone out.
Yeah, I didn't know he did the soundtrack for that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you should check it out.
He's mentioned that that's a lot of the inspiration he gets when he's making stuff for like the band because he does a lot of gaming. So
Yeah, he did a great job. Like I said, it ends perfectly because the credits start rolling and it's kind of this eerie, dark, soft, quiet, and then the guitars kick in and it gets heavier. And it's really well done. It's how I like music. It's how I write my music.
It's trying to. Let's see if this is it. No, that's not it, is it?
No.
It says it's that's the title theme. It's all people love Mega Man 2. There's lots of Mega Man 2.
Try Mega Man 2. It's actually like one of the main themes that they play on the Mega Man stage on Smash Brothers. I'm pretty sure it's Mega Man 2. I don't know if it's
Wily's
like the main
Castle,
theme.
maybe?
I would say, like, when we post this video, we should ask the listeners.
Well, that's one of them, actually. It's such a sick song.
That's so fun, man. That's so great.
That's Nintendo. That's just original NES.
The NES,
like,
that is
like
that is good stuff
insane.
right there. All right, see if you guys recognize this one. This really takes me back. Let's see if I can find it here.
F-Zero also had, I think it was them that had like a song like that.
Let's try this one.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a Rock Band's version of it. Hang on. This is the problem with being on Spotify and just trying to search for this.
Also, YouTube, if you try to take us down, I'll burn your house to the ground.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds familiar too.
Come on, you got to know that one. Derek, you know that one, don't you?
I know, like, I recognize it. I don't know the name.
That's just imagine yourself punching dudes that are way bigger than you.
Oh,
Punch Out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually not
you can
super
kind of hear the little
familiar with
punches like the dum 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 dum.
Yeah. I'm not as familiar with those games, to be honest with you.
Oh man, I loved that theme music, and I loved the sounds of it too. Like, it was so satisfying when you got that punch that knocked them down. It would go. It kind of sounded like your little celebration noise you were giving us earlier.
You know what? So we can go back and forth here because that was an older game.
Yeah.
Newer game. A shout out to Nier Automata.
Yes.
Gosh, that did not have a good soundtrack. You guys
Are
are
you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
God,
Trash.
your brain is just as dumb as your face.
Dude, it made me sad for robots in a way I didn't know I could feel.
Yeah, but there's some really good I think the song that plays when you're running through the desert. I mean,
The amusement
obviously, I
park
don't know
was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had some
it was
really
very
good music.
creepy.
Yeah, they
right?
had some
It was
really
creepy,
good
but
tunes.
cool.
Yeah, that was a great game. Really, really
I don't know
enjoyed.
if you had the desert theme there, but
This is a recent one. I think it's one of my favorite soundtracks.
oh, God of War, yeah.
Yeah, and you know the guy
But,
who did that is Bear McCreary, and he's done tons and tons of TV show scores. So if you've watched shows like The Walking Dead, he did that one. He did, that pirate show on Stars, Black Sails.
Black
I think?
Sails?
Yeah, he did that opening song. So he's really great at coming up with that iconic sound. And I do think the God of War, the recent game, I think that's going to end up being iconic music as we look back at it. It already is amazing, but I think we'll look back at it as recognizable.
When you think back to like the original games, like there's a consistent theme with that. There's like an actual God of War theme for those older ones.
Yeah,
that's pretty familiar and iconic. So obviously this one was more Norse sounding.
Yes, so, it almost sounded like Kratos was the one singing, like ooh.
Yeah, might as well be.
You guys recognize this one from another recent game? I think this is pretty iconic now. There's always ambient noises to start these things.
Yeah, it does take a while sometimes to pick up.
I know. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Assassin's Creed? No.
I would say Assassin's Creed Origins has an iconic, like...
Yeah, this one was
really
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Ah, okay, yes.
That's Horizon, and it's really,
I
really
didn't
good.
like... I mean, that one was okay, but I didn't like the music overall. I thought it was...
Ooh, actually, Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, yeah, of course. Duh.
Especially the second one. There's some pretty amazing soundtracks in the second one. Yes, that one. That's the exact one I was thinking of, Tim.
It's the Sticker Bush Symphony.
Yeah.
That's the one that always comes to mind. That one and the swimming level. Those come to mind. Yeah, man. That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
That's such a good song.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country, I think, broke new ground not only with the visuals, because it looked so good on the Super Nintendo. That was like,
Yeah.
I had never seen anything like it, but then the music that ended up coming out of there was absolutely nuts. All right, the
Yeah.
last one that I will mention here. See if I can get it pulled up here real quick. Let's see. I thought they had. I hate it. The problem is when you pull up a soundtrack and they're all named something real creative, and it's like, all right, well, I just want the
'cause
main.
they have actual names to them.
I just want the
but-
main theme.
Yeah. Like it's kind of funny, and I feel stupid for not realizing it, but like Final Fantasy VII, the world map has a theme song, but it's actually like the main theme of like, so like when they were first like having commercials for Final Fantasy VII, like that's the theme song that they use, like that's the Final Fantasy VII theme.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I know it as the world map theme. So
Yeah. Well, when I think of Final Fantasy VII, there's really only one song that comes to mind. Let me find it.
Do you mean One Winged Angel?
Of course, I can't find it.
Yeah. If you search One Winged Angel,
There it is.
You'll find it. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, so good.
I mean,
so
his name
good.
is literally in the song. They chant his name. Like, you
Sephiroth.
know,
Yeah,
like that's pretty epic.
a lot.
I was trying to pull up the actual 7 theme.
So I will
just
say,
'cause-
so the one I will throw out there, since I couldn't find another one I was thinking of, you said Final Fantasy. My favorite Final Fantasy tune, and I will agree with you, there's a ton of good ones. But
yeah.
this is my favorite one. It's from my favorite Final Fantasy game, of course. Let me pull it up. Here it is. This one also takes a minute to get going.
Yes. So the beginning is 6, right?
This is Terra's theme from 6.
Yep.
That little loop right there.
And this is a Super Nintendo game.
That was Super Nintendo, man.
Like,
Of course, what we're
insane.
listening to now is a reorchestrated version. It was a
Yeah. Kind of music they were able to do with just like a 16-bit console.
crazy, absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. Essentially, just like a little MIDI keyboard and a handful of sounds at your disposal, and they were making incredible stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, we could keep doing this forever. I love this kind of stuff. I love iconic video game music. I think it plays a bigger role in a lot of the games that we love than we often realize, and other times it's impossible to ignore it. Like I think Ori is a great example. Ori and the Blind Forest, of a game where you can't ignore the music. Like it's one of those games that I can't play without having the sound on. Like I can't.
think
You know how
I was
you know how
gonna
there's
say-
games where you have to have the sound off and you want to just watch or listen to something else. Ori, I never do that because the sound is just so good.
I don't do that with games at all. I actually think it's
Oh,
odd
really?
when people say, "Oh, I listen to a podcast," when I'm like, "No, I somebody made this music."
I
Like, I'm
do. I
gonna
do
sit there
that
and
for
appreciate it.
phone games and little like dinky.
Okay,
games,
sure.
Puzzle games and stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
with like an actual video game on a console, the Switch, handheld, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna listen to the work that these people created. You know.
The thing is with like Ori is the game artistically, like visually matches the music.
Oh,
like
it's perfect.
both of them work hand in hand together.
Yep.
And so like as you're playing it, the art's already drawing you in, but then the music has a lot of like emotions, and especially since, you know, without spoiling, there's a lot of depressing things that happen in that game without really any words, and it's the music that drives that emotion while you're visually watching things that you're kind of interpreting, like what's happening here. Ooh,
Agreed.
oh, okay, and the music's kind of pushing you to
Oh yeah.
Well-
believe what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That is the job of the soundtrack, is to also speak to you through the music, and that's what makes a good soundtrack for video games. So,
Yeah,
some-
and this
some of them work
game
and
in
some don't.
particular really uses it. Where like
Yep.
Yeah.
yes, soundtracks are supposed to push like emotions, but games with like a lot of voice acting and cutscenes and stuff like that, the narrative is being pushed by the actors and the dialogue
Right.
and stuff like that. A game like Ori, does it have talking? Yes, if I remember correctly, there is somebody who talks
there's a
to
voice with subtitles
Yeah.
because it's not in English, right? It's like
Yeah.
a made up language.
so the game does talk to you technically, but a lot of the narrative is through what you're seeing visually and then what you're hearing musically. And the music doesn't talk. The music's just music. So it's really well done how they do that, how they communicate to you through those two things without having a character come on there and be like, hey, this guy's dying, blah, 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 something stupid like that.
I don't want to see you narrate a game ever. This guy is dying.
You guys remember?
Hey,
I would argue that
look, I think
Hey,
he's
listen.
dying.
one of the most emotional movie openings, whether it's cartoon or not, is probably the movie Up. Has one of the more emotional openings to a movie ever. I think Ori has one of the most emotional openings to a game. It tells its own little encapsulated sad story to kind of kick things off into your adventure.
And like The Last of Us. There's a few others.
Last of Us has an incredibly moving opening. Yep. There's a ton of stuff we didn't mention that we won't play the music for. Everything from Tetris and Sonic, Castlevania, a bunch of Street Fighter
Even
tunes.
Mario, like the second level, like I think it's level 1, 2 of Mario, like
Yeah, the underground. We didn't do that one. Yeah, that's right.
Those first two songs.
Yeah, that's so good. And then of course, I think
stuff like
the Gears music has stepped up their game. They have a pretty decent theme in the first 3, but 4 and 5, I think the music's been good. And of course, we talked a lot of Witcher 3. I think the Witcher 3 music's great too. We just didn't play any of it. I'm not sure that it's iconic yet, but it is good.
I don't know if it's just because it's my favorite genre, but I honestly think RPGs have the best soundtracks.
That'd be hard to argue against.
Just because pretty much an RPG will always consist of some big crazy things happening. People are dying. It's very emotional. There's a lot going on, so that music needs to kind of also, emphasize that.
So let me put you on the spot. Favorite Final Fantasy soundtrack overall, which would it be?
I mean, I guess it would be 7. Although 8 is very close. Okay. I know 9 has a lot of really good tracks, and 9 actually has one of the best tracks overall, which is Not Alone. Yeah. Which is the song that towards the end of the game that plays when something's going on with the main character, Zidane. Yep. But 8 has like a lot of really good songs.
Well, it
like
has to. All that teenage angst, they have to balance it out with something,
exactly.
So let me play this one last memorable thing, speaking of Final Fantasy, before we move on to one last thing.
Yeah. Twirl my sword.
All right, that sounds like a more recent one, but you guys all get it. There's always that little jingle at the end of.
They actually do that at Distant Worlds. They actually technically kick it off with that. They do that, and then like the choir does like a little shout. Then they kick off into the Crystal theme. Yeah, it's an amazing show.
That's pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah.
All right, a couple pieces of news before we get out of here. It's getting late here on this Friday evening. Google Stadia, Derek mentioned that earlier in the show, that does have an official release date of November 19th. But if you've got it pre-ordered or if you're thinking about grabbing access, I don't know if there is access left anymore. But anyway, I don't know what games you're going to have available to you. They have not confirmed launch day games, so it'll be interesting to see what you can actually play.
They haven't? I thought they had.
They had some confirmed, but not very many. I don't think they have a full launch lineup confirmed yet.
No.
But that launches on November 19th, right before Thanksgiving there. Death Stranding review embargoes will lift on November 1st. And call me an optimist, as someone who's been down on this game a lot, that feels like, because it's already in the hands of reviewers now, and the review embargo lifts a full week before it comes out. To me, that just that bodes well. In my mind.
That tells me that they're going to rave about this game. But that being said, games media is kind of turned into Hollywood, where it's like anything weird and out there is super cool. So they can
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that actually works out.
Real positive attitude.
Of course,
don't worry. We'll have the hard hitting news and real facts about that game right there.
Oh yeah, I'm for sure getting it. Like I'm not, and now that. Okay, so I shouldn't say for sure. I mean, if they release on November 1st and it does get 5s and 6s and they say this is crazy,
then we'll
stupid,
wait for a
drugged
sale.
out dumb crap, then no, I won't buy it. But if anybody comes out and says, this is a typical Kojima, it's crazy,
Metal
but
Gear
it's
Solid
good,
6.
then I'll buy it. Yeah.
We didn't talk about this last time, but this is relatively older news. But just in case, Doom Eternal was officially delayed out of November into March of next year. Number one, I'm okay with it being delayed. I want it to be really good, and I'll be excited to play it whenever it's available. March is just a horrible time of year to play.
That's what I was gonna say. Like everybody's initial reactions, they always say the same thing: "Good for the delay," and I'm going, "No." Like I get you're saying good for the delay because you want a good game, but are you not paying attention to when they're sliding?
No,
it
if they were like,
back
"Hey, we're
to?
going to
Like,
release
that's
this in
terrible.
January," I'd be pumped. I'd be like, "Perfect,
Yes.
we'll
Yeah,
kick off the
I-
new
we
year
got
with this thing." But no, it's
Cyberpunk 7 remake.
dude, it's crazy.
The month right before that is Last of Us 2.
Cyberpunk is April,
Is it April? I thought it was
Yes.
March.
Everything's
Okay.
hitting that window.
Well,
but I
still.
think it might be early.
Even
So
smaller
that's
stuff
3
like
months in a
Ori,
row.
Ori 2 is going to be in that window too. They're all right in that same time frame. So
Something's gonna get delayed. I think Cyberpunk is just too big.
there's
to be
no
coming
way
out
that's
that
coming
soon.
out in April, right? That's going to be.
I think they're
bumped
gonna
back.
delay it.
Early previews of Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order have been very positive. I've read a few over the last couple days, and I'm cautiously optimistic about this game, and I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, I'm just expecting it to be like a pretty decent Star Wars action game, but it sounds like they may be delivering even more than that for us. So,
Respawn
I
is
was
a
gonna-
great developer.
yeah,
Yes, I trust them. If you're gonna, Tim, you said you were gonna buy this game on the Xbox
I already did.
One.
That's already ordered. You know what's funny?
Oh.
The day before they announced, bless you,
Excuse
the day before they announced
Bless
the
you.
Doom Eternal delay, I pre-ordered it.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because I was
There you
going to tell you on CD Keys, they had the Xbox One version. They have the regular version. It's $50 and like 24 cents, and then they have the deluxe version for $50 and like 74 cents. For
What?
like 50 cents more, you could get the deluxe version. I was like, well, I'm just going to tell Tim. He normally doesn't buy the deluxe version, but I was like, just buy it. It's 50 cents more, and you're getting $10 off the overall price.
That's and
But
I've
you already pre-ordered it.
chosen not to get deluxe versions of stuff because usually the value it provides is not really valuable to me. Typically,
No,
it's not.
they definitely upsell you on that crap.
All right, well, that's pretty much it for news. If you've been playing Wargroove and you like those strategy RPG games, they do have a big DLC pack this fall coming out for free with new campaign, new units, a bunch more editing stuff, some co-op stuff. So if you're playing Wargroove, keep an eye out for a download coming your way for free on whatever platform.
Please be
you play that
excited,
on.
Derek.
Please be excited. All right, well
Yeah.
that's a lot. We covered a ton today. Thank you guys for humoring me with listening through some music. I really dig, of course, music. We all like music, but video game
I'll be
music in particular.
skipping that part of the show.
No, you won't. You'll listen.
Well, you might have to skip the whole thing because YouTube's going to demolish this episode.
It's all right. We only have like 5 subscribers. We're fine.
Thanks, Eli. That's what he said. Nobody listens to that crap anyways. You guys suck.
All right. Well, that's it for tonight. I'm glad we recorded on a Friday night. Otherwise, this would be way past your bedtimes for a school
Oh,
night.
yeah, it's already
Right?
12
That's right.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
Time
Thank
to
you
stay up and
both.
play some video games.
And we will talk to you next time. See ya.
All right.
See you. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, shut up.
Who is your daddy? I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?